This is a tale of two friends. So the first friend, I met him a while ago, and I talked about him in this video before. He's the guy that details my car. So I get my car detailed every week, mainly because it just takes me way too long to clean. I've just never been good at it. I'm not an organized person. I'd rather let a professional handle it. And so he had talked to me about his finances and his health and all these different things. And I don't know if he was at the point of rock bottom or not, but I had told him a couple things. So the first thing was he was listening to his family when it came to finances, and so I started asking him like, well, how is your family doing? The people that raised you, and they were in credit card debt constantly, always in the same boat, just collection agencies calling all the time, barely making it, barely able to pay rent or pay their mortgage and so on. And this is not to knock them at all. That is where a lot of my family members are. And the point of the video will be shown at the end of this. So, he's sharing all that with me. And then I asked him about his health. He's a big guy. I think he could bench more than me, but he was not in the best of health. You can always tell when people, just by the color of their skin. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, whatever. You can always kind of tell. There's like a paleness to somebody's skin when there's not something quite right, right? And so anyway, we're going through and I'm talking to him about these things, and he tells me about his family situation, asks him about his food, tells me, he basically eats what everyone else eats, Taco Bell and McDonald's and all that other stuff. And I start sharing with him some of the things that I personally, this is my opinion, is what's worked for me. This is why I've not had any problems financially. I haven't had to go to the doctor in over a decade. And I started sharing these ideas and concepts with him, such as, don't listen if somebody's poor and they're giving you financial advice. You probably shouldn't listen. You need to find somebody, and they don't need to be super wealthy or rich or whatever, but find somebody where they're doing what you would like to do. They're living in a way that you would like to live. Find them, even if you had to pay them a little bit to learn, find out what they do. How are they making it? How are they able to live the way that they're living? So then you can learn and change the way that you think. In fact, when I was sharing the stuff that I know, it was almost a complete opposite. His family is like, save, 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 save. And I'm like, dude, do not save your money. Use credit cards, but you need to use them a very specific way. You need to use your resources a very specific way. Okay, so it's almost a complete opposite of what everyone else teaches. And I'm not going to get into that, at least on this video. So he starts doing this, and he went from being like literally struggling every month to it was I want to say 6 months later, he was telling me that he's in the Capital One lounge as he's taking a flight through Texas, and it was for free because he used one of the credit cards that he got that based off of what I had suggested for him to do. So he's having free food, he's in the lounge, he's on a 6-hour layover or something like that. And normally he'd just be out sleeping, in one of the seats. He's lounging in one of the seats. He's able to have some alcohol. He's able to do all these different things that he wanted to do. And simply because he had a specific credit card that cost him nothing, but he was doing the things that I had suggested that he do. And then now, dude, so before he would kind of be like hunched over and he'd have his head forward and all these different things. Now he is just like, boom, he radiates this feeling of like masculinity and dude, the guy's crushing it, crushing it. My other friend, he he is somebody very near and dear to me. And he I've even subsidized his fitness. I've told him, he's had gut problems. He I'm not going to get too specific into who he is and what he does because he's very very close to me and I don't want to do that. I mean, he's extremely close to me. But he has gut problems. He just told me that he got a peanut allergy. And I had subsidized him not only for his fitness, but for some business stuff as well. And luckily, he's done well on the business side, but on the health side, I just see him declining. And he was having these problems where he would have these ginormous stomach aches and have to go to the doctor. Then the doctor wouldn't know what it was, and he'd prescribe him some drug, and then the drug either worked or it didn't work or it made it worse, and then he'd go back to the doctor and so on and so forth, right? And it was just getting worse and worse. And I'm telling him, dude, you are your number one asset. You have a family. You should be investing your money into quality food. Yes, it's more expensive than the processed food. But if you look at inflation here in the States, if you look at inflation here in the States and you see quality real food go up, let's say it was at $4 and now it's at $8, but all the same processed crap food stays right where it is, do you think that they're using the same ingredients or better ingredients in that food when the price remained the same? Probably not. It's probably even worse than it was. It's probably even worse than it was. As a means to keep everything low, but still make a profit, still be able to have people buy. And don't get me wrong, it was extremely difficult for me to get off of both financially and just the fact that I was addicted. I would always get these at Taco Bell. I would always get these Mexican pizzas. Those were my favorite, like all the time. I get Mexican pizzas and gorditas or chalupas. Oh my gosh! Even thinking about it right now, my body's like, "Can we have a little bit of that?" Uh, so it's hard, both financially. Financially, you're looking at doubling, tripling, or quadrupling your food budget to go from fake food to real food. So I get it. But you're not going to be around very long if you are eating toxic food, right? So I'm sharing this with him over time, over and over and over and over again. And it's just too hard. It's too hard for him. And despite, I don't think it's the financial. I think because I've shared with him it's the same things. He makes more money per month and has less responsibility than my first friend. And then in addition, I was subsidizing, so he's even making even more money per month than my other friend. And my other friend eats quality real food. My other friend has multiple cars. which he only had one before. My other friend travels when he wants. My other friend does all these different things because he puts himself first. He puts himself with exercising, with food. That gives him the energy and the motivation to then take the rest of his money and invest it into things that bring him cash flow, to build businesses, to build things, to create things, and so on and so forth. My other friend does do the business and creation and stuff, but he's kind of like where I was at a while ago, where my health was crap. I'd sleep most of the day. I'd be depressed. I was overweight. I'd want to be this attractive dude and everything like that, but I looked like a pig. Um, and you can only go so far with your car if you're putting crappy gas in it. And eventually things will start breaking. So, like I said, with him, he literally just told me that he got a peanut allergy, just out of the blue, and it's my belief, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical guy. It's my belief that if you don't eat quality food, your body's going to start reacting negatively to different things. Your body's literally like trying to protect itself so that you don't die by telling you, no, you can't eat this. If you keep eating this, you're gonna die. And so it'll do it by swelling up your face, your throat, all these different things, right? Um, so all that said, all of this comes down to ultimately self-concept, concept of self. And self-concept, what does that mean? What do you believe about yourself? Like literally believe about yourself, like how you see yourself every day, the self-talk, the things that you talk about every day. Are you worth it? Are you the number one person in your life? Are you not the number one asset in your life? Do you only eat quality food because you truly believe that you have to in order to be the best that you are? Do you believe truly that you are, do you believe truly that you are worthy of being more financially free than you are right now? I know one of my cousins, smartest guy. Oh man, he was so smart. He still is. But he never believed that he could be more wealthy than he could be, and he just kind of continue to waste things over and over and over again. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you could be fit? Do you believe that you could be loved? And what I mean by believe, it's not a mental, like, oh yeah, I believe that. When you close your eyes and you think about what you desire, let's say you desired to make twice as much money, or 3 times or 10 times as much money, do you is there a resistance feeling to it? If there is, then you have to start exploring why that is. The more that you're able to change, what really changes you is how you view yourself, how you see through your own eyes. So I used to be scared of other people. I used to be scared of other men. I used to be scared of women. I used to think that came off as creepy. I used to think that when I spoke to anybody that I was a nerd, or I didn't know what I was saying. I couldn't be funny. And as I started visualizing myself in these situations and changing through my own eyes how I interacted with people, that's when things started to change. There's other things involved in it, but the more that you're able to start literally visualizing and feeling yourself in these scenarios, and changing how you act, revising how you act, you are going to be able to do things that you never thought possible. I have said things to people now that I would have been mortified. I would have never been able to show my face ever again at this place. I would have felt so freaking stupid and odd. I would say, and now that I say things like that, sometimes it's just by accident. I'm like, oh, okay, well, and then I just move on, which that came from internally. People feel weird about you or creepy about you because you feel creepy and you feel weird. You can't eat quality food. Quality food is always too expensive because you internally feel like you do not deserve that. You cannot make that much money. That it's way too out of range for you. It might be that you think it's not doesn't taste as good. It could be what a whole host of different things. You can't make a certain amount of money because you don't feel like you're worthy of it, or you feel like it's bad. You feel like making a lot of money is bad. Or you have a viewpoint that if you made a lot of money, people would think that you are bad. People would think that you are a snob or spoiled or whatever it is. Everything comes from here and what you believe about yourself. Everything. Absolutely everything. And the more you're able to view yourself in the way that you want to view. Like for me, people are look at me as crazy when I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to help people create things and I don't want anything back in return. It's my freaking money. It's my prerogative to do that. And so when I come at it from my self concept of this is what I like to do. Of course, it's not for everybody. I'm not going to do that for everybody. It's people that I know and trust, and I feel like it's going to end up doing very well. Sometimes I might ask for something. Sometimes it might be there's a percentage, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes I will just help somebody because I know later on down the road it'll help me in some fashion or another. But it's my prerogative. It's my self-concept. The and when I come at it from that place, then people magically people change around. They're like, oh, okay, well, I can see that. That's got, or and it changes the entire dynamic. But if I felt like, oh, they're going to think that I'm doing this so that I'm getting something from them. I'm going to hold them accountable later on, or I'm going to ask for something later on, or whatever. Then they are going to feel that. Both the people who are benefiting and the people who are kind of on the sidelines watching. They're going to feel that. But the more you change your self concept of whatever it is that you want, you will attain that goal. If it is eating quality food and being able to double your budget on food or triple your budget so that you can have the best quality life possible, you truly believe that that's yours and you visualize that and you feel it, it will happen. Same thing will go with money, same thing will go with love, same thing will go with belonging, same thing will go with community. When you really truly feel that and you practice, if you haven't listened to Neville Goddard, especially Neville Goddard, feeling this is the secret, 100%. Everything that I've done in my life now has been because of that concept. So start believing that you're worthy of the things that you want to have. Don't wait till you hit rock bottom. Don't wait till you get a peanut allergy or whatever, or diabetes or cancer or whatever. Believe now that you can achieve. Believe now that you have those things. And sooner or later, the outside world will give you that.